Face the future with Fusion Electronics. Welcome to our video today. I want to show you a bit about how Fusion works, where are the menus, where are your settings, just to get familiar with the user interface. Now I started Fusion already, and you see on the left hand side my data panel. This is where all your projects are, where you can create folders, where all the stuff is you would like to edit. Let me just open one of the folders here, double click it, and here you see my files, and the AQ1 in my case, that's the electronics design I want to open. I do a right click or a double click. This electronics design is opened now, and it automatically opens the linked schematic, the 2D PCB if is already existing, and the 3D PCB. So you see the tabs coming up now, and you see we have different options here. Then it switches back into the electronics design, and here you see a preview of schematic, 2D PCB, the 3D PCB, and the manufacturing preview. So let's go into the schematic. I just click the tab here, and here you see the data panel. I can close it. On the right hand side you see the inspect and selection filter options. I can also minimize it, and now I have a big space to work with. On the bottom here I see the preview of my sheets, and on the left hand side you see my design manager, all the entries there. Now Fusion works in the way usually you go from the left to the right. So on this menu bar here you see the menus. That's the switch icon where I go into the board. I have some general things like info and show, the grid command, layer related stuff. Then I have copy, paste and delete. And then the first real important thing, the important command, is the add command to add a part. You can move it, and you see I can go to the right, and it gets more and more detailed or deeper into the electronics workspace simulation. And then of course modify. Afterwards I have placed my components. I would like to change something. I would like to change the value, for example. By the way, I can also click onto this drop down menu here, and you see some further options you have. So explore them. Look what you have there. Okay. And that's about design. About document, the entries change. We can define the variants. We have some output options, print and so on. And of course, I can draw lines, I can add text and so on. And the next step here is validate. Validate. It's mainly about the electrical rule check, showing me the errors that might be in the schematic, and I can define the net classes. And automate. What would automate do? There I can execute user language programs or scripts if you want to. And in the library menu, there we see of course three icons. I can open the library manager. I could update design from library. This means I have maybe changed something and want to bring the new definition into my design, or I can update from all libraries used. So that's the options I have in the schematic. If I switch into the 2D PCB, well, there it's similar. I have also the option to minimize the panels, the inspector or the selection filters if I want to. And it's a similar system. You see in design we have the switch icons back to schematic or into 3D PCB. I have the view for grid settings. I have the edit section with copy and paste and delete, and I have layer options, single layer mode, for example. There I can define the board shape. Don't miss to use maybe a spline, you can use now. We have the move, all related to placing objects, and then we have the route options. That's the manual routing, and there are some in the menu bar here, but I can also click onto the drop down menu, and I have some options. Fan out. I have the quick route options you see here. There's also the auto router. Then we have the polygon command, polygon pour cutout. So that's the type of the polygon I would like to create. And of course go down. I can hide all polygon pour fills, for example. I can show them, and I can refill them. So that's the option I have. And rip up, don't miss rip up command. If you want to go back from a trace back to the signal line, there we have different options. And then we have rework options like miter, split, rip up and route device to signal, the meander command, the optimize command. So then modify. You see, from the left to the right, it's getting more and more deeper into electronics design. That's what you basically see here. A few more words on this bar on the bottom here. There I have the zoom in and zoom out options, the grid command again, and very important, this one here, please click on it. It's interesting, if you move components, if you route signals, you can decide about the mode. By default, it's set to push violators. This means as soon as I move something, obstacles would be pushed away. Sometimes I do not want to have this because it's a bit a delay in moving components fast. Then I go back and then I go and change to the walk around violators or even ignore violators. But be careful, you have to run the design rule check afterwards and check if all the clearances are okay. I would show you something about some settings. If you go and click onto your icon here with the account or your name, and then you go to preferences. And there is also something about electronics. Click here and you will see I can change the background colors, the colors in the schematic and in the board, of course, and some further options. And you can change the colors, for example, in the system. There are some options for drill tables if you would like to use, and there is something about MISC, so about displaying signal names on the pads or on the traces and so on. So there are electronics related settings. Now back in my electronics design, again you see the overview. Here's also in the tree I can also explore what do I have here. The schematic, for example, has only one sheet. So as I said, that's kind of overview. You can edit a description here if you want to add some information for your colleagues, for example. Okay, that's it. That's the first look into Fusion Electronics Design Workspace. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned.